Alright, everybody. Sorry I haven't uploaded in about a year. It's been quite hectic for me lately. Had a big move from England to Scotland. I've got a baby now, got the missus. So I haven't really had time to be doing much. I've still been skating a little bit and that, but not as much as I'd like to, as you can tell, being a dad and that. So I figured I'd just make a quick video today to share my thoughts on a subject that was brought up on Instagram by a beginner skater like myself. I know I've been doing it about 2 years now, but I'm still in that beginner phase. I'm trying to get out of it, but it's hard. So a problem that she was having was dropping in, and she's done small quarters and everything. It's the big ones that she was struggling with. So I told her the usual, look, you can't have courage and be courageous unless you're afraid first. You can't conquer your fear and be courageous unless you're afraid. So that's how I started. Just no courage without fear, no courage without fear. But then what do you do when that's not enough and the fear is getting the better of you, especially on bigger drop-ins and stuff? Well, I sort of come across something myself that helped me a lot. So I figured I'd share it with you today. And it's basically how to trick your brain so you can do the bigger drop-ins, because it's an illusion. When you're standing there at the end of a big drop-in, it's an illusion that your brain and your eyes are playing on you. So I figured I'd just try and explain it the best that I can that helped me with my bigger drop-ins and stuff. So my drawing's not the best. I'm not an artist, or by any means necessary I'm not an artist, but I figured I'd just draw a couple of little examples to help me explain a bit better. So the video, how to trick your brain for skaters. So I've done two little crappy drawings. I'm not the best artist, but here we go. Right, the first one is, this is what you look like basically at the edge of your coping, whether you're a boarder or a blader. And basically your eye level is here. So your brain sees this distance. So this arrow represents how far you're actually dropping in before you're rolling out. But what your eyes tend to do is look directly to the lowest point of the drop in, not where the vert ends. So the distance you're seeing to the vert isn't what you're actually seeing. It's your eyes tend to generally go a little bit lower. So it's not actually that distance from your eyes to the vert. It's this distance from your feet to the vert, but your eyes are higher than your feet. So your brain tells your eyes, oh, that's really far down, when it actually is not as high as you think. So the way to trick your brain is that you'll look dumb doing it, but it helped me a lot, is if you just lie down on the coping and put your eyes where your feet would be, you actually see the actual distance, the real distance that you've actually got to drop. So it's not from the bottom of where the vert stops and you start to roll into your eyes. It's where the vert stops and you start to roll into your feet. So if you can lie down on the coping and put your eyes where your feet are generally going to be, you'll see the actual true distance. So then what you've got to do is keep doing that when you're afraid, and tell your brain, oh, it's not actually that high, because it's the distance to your feet, not to your eyes. And that's the trick. It's your brain is telling you it's higher than what it actually is, because it's going from your eye level, not from where your feet are. So if you can trick your brain into basically saying, look, it isn't actually that high because it's where my feet land, not where my head is, basically, you'll be able to start conquering the bigger drop-ins, because you could start telling your brain, well, look, it's not actually as high as you're telling me. It's from my feet to the bottom of the vert where you start to roll in, not to the bottom of the ramp. It's not as high as you think it is. It really isn't. And this is just a little mental trick that you can do. So just put your eyes to the coping where your feet would be, and just start to tell your brain and reprogram your brain basically and say, it's not as high as you're actually telling me. It's from where the vert and the rolling, where your vert stops and the rolling begins, to your feet. not to your eyes. So the distance isn't actually as big as your brain is telling you. It might make sense, it might not make sense, but this stupid little technique, you look dumb as hell doing it in a skate park, you really do. But it will start to tell your brain that it's not as high as you actually think it is. So there's my thoughts anyway. That's what really helped me. I basically tricked my brain into saying it's never the distance from the floor to your eyes, it's the distance between the floor to your feet, because your feet land first, not your head, unless you bail really bad. But that's it. That's all I can really say. It's just a matter of a process of tricking your brain into thinking something different, like reprogramming. So it might work, it might not for you. You might find a better method, you might not. But this really helped me. I basically tricked my brain. So even when I'm going down, trying to do a down ledge or trying to hop up onto something, your fall isn't actually that bad, because your feet land first, not your face, unless you fall really, really bad. You know what I mean? But just reprogram your brain. No courage without fear, people.